Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most legendary books ever created, 1001 Nights. So what's so fascinating about this collection? Well, for starters, its origins are this incredible melting pot of Indian, Persian, Arab, Babylonian, and even Egyptian cultures. It's like a literary supergroup. But here's the thing, the most amazing story isn't about Aladdin or Sinbad, as famous as they are. Nope, the real story is the story of the book itself. So, where does it all begin? Well, our story kicks off not with a hero, but with a powerful king, Shahryar, and his entire world is about to be completely shattered by a betrayal so deep it will change everything. So it all starts with the king's brother, Shah Zaman. He discovers his own wife is unfaithful, and, devastated, he goes to Shahryar for support. But things go from bad to worse. Shahryar then witnesses his own wife in this huge betrayal right in the palace garden. Thinking their pain must be the worst in the world, the two brothers just wander off. That's when they meet a powerful demon, an Ifrit, who literally keeps a woman locked in a chest. And you'd think he'd have control, right? Nope. Even he gets betrayed. The woman secretly shows them she has rings from 570 other lovers. Can you imagine? This final, absolutely shocking moment is what breaks Shahryar. It convinces him that no woman anywhere can ever be trusted. So, just completely broken by this series of betrayals, he returns to his kingdom and makes this absolutely monstrous vow. His decree? He will marry a new bride every single night and have her executed the very next morning. Just like that, his personal pain plunges the entire kingdom into an age of pure terror. And this isn't just a brief moment of madness. This horror goes on for 3 long years. The kingdom is on the brink of collapse. Families are just destroyed. Fathers are hiding their daughters. And eventually, the unthinkable happens. They run out of virgins for the king's brutal ritual. It's in this moment of absolute, total despair that a hero finally emerges. And she comes from the most unlikely of places. And who is this hero? It's Shahrazad, the vizier's own daughter. I mean, think about that. Her father is the one with the horrible job of finding these women for the king every day. But she isn't a warrior with a sword. Her weapons are different. She's a brilliant intellectual who's devoured over 1,000 books of history, fables, and poetry. And she volunteers for what is, let's be honest, a suicide mission, armed with nothing but her intellect and a truly desperate, brilliant plan. Okay, so what is this plan? It's actually pretty simple, but unbelievably bold. On her wedding night, the night she's supposed to die, she makes one final request to the king. She asks if her younger sister, Dunyazad, can be there, just to say one last goodbye. The king, probably not thinking much of it, agrees. And then, just as they planned, her sister asks, "Tell us a story to pass this long night." And with that one question, Scheherazade unleashes the very weapon that she hopes will save her life.
Her strategy revolves around a technique we call the nested story. It's genius, really. She starts telling a story so captivating that the king just has to know what happens next. But she doesn't just tell one story. She weaves stories inside of other stories, creating this narrative maze that's almost impossible to find your way out of. So her very first tale is about a poor fisherman who finds a sealed copper jar in his net. He opens it, and poof! Out comes this terrifying Ifrit, a powerful demon. But instead of thanks, the Ifrit declares that after being trapped for centuries, he's sworn to kill whoever sets him free. So the fisherman is facing certain death. What does he do? He uses his brain. He looks at the demon and basically asks, how could a huge being like you possibly fit inside this tiny little jar? Well, the Ifrit's pride is wounded. Right, so he transforms himself back into smoke and funnels himself right back into the jar to prove it. And boom, the fisherman slams the lid on and seals it tight. The king is completely hooked, he's on the edge of his seat, but just as the fisherman is about to decide what to do with the trapped demon, Scheherazade goes silent. Why? Because dawn is breaking. It's the ultimate cliffhanger. And the king, absolutely desperate to hear the rest of the story, has no choice. He has to spare her life for just one more day. And that one night of survival, well, it turns into a second night, and then a third.
Every single night, she does the same thing. She ends her story on a knife's edge, leaving the king with absolutely no choice but to let her live so he can hear the end. And this goes on for a very long time. 1001 Nights. For nearly 3 years, she literally holds death at bay, just with the power of storytelling. But as she's spinning these tales, stories about kings and commoners, about love and betrayal, justice and mercy, something else, something deeper is starting to happen. And this is the crucial part. These weren't just random, entertaining stories. They were carefully chosen. They were lessons. In a way, they were a kind of therapy for the king. They showed him a world far more complex than his own pain, and they slowly taught him about morality, wisdom, and forgiveness. Bit by bit, they were healing his poisoned heart. So over these nearly 3 years, we get to see this incredible transformation. The king's thirst for revenge, it's replaced by curiosity. His cruelty gives way to empathy, and his hatred, it slowly turns into love for the very woman who has captivated his mind night after night. So, after all that, what was the final outcome? What happened at the end of this incredible 1001 night gamble? On that final night, Scheherazade reveals she has no more stories to tell. But she does have something else to show him, the 3 sons she has borne him during that time. The king, now a completely changed man, looks at his family, declares his love for her, and officially repeals his horrific decree. So you see, Scheherazade didn't just save herself. She saved every woman in her kingdom. And in that desperate act of survival, she accidentally created one of the most enduring literary masterpieces in all of history. And that is why the frame story, the story about Scheherazade herself, is so incredibly powerful. It isn't just a clever trick to link a bunch of different tales together. No, it's so much more. It completely reframes the act of storytelling itself as something heroic, something that can literally alter lives and change the world. And it really leaves you with a pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? What if the greatest, most profound art isn't born from comfort or some flash of inspiration, but from the simple, desperate, absolute necessity of surviving to see another sunrise?